Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm Angela Wilkinson, mindset mentor and founder of the Awakened Goddess Academy. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Hey, I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. Intuitive since childhood, Candia Sanders uses her gifts to inspire people around the world. Combining her intuition with healing, she sees within the mental, emotional, and physical bodies to rebalance and realign old energies and patterns of beliefs into frequencies for positive shifts and wellness. An accident in 1993 opened doorways into the incredible connections between emotions, meridians, organs, structure, endocrine system, events, memories, stored cellular memories, parallel lifetimes, and beliefs. Rebalancing the various aspects aligns the person with clarity and focus on conscious behavior. This is Candia's main passion, helping others to open up to their consciousness and vitality. Today, Candia and I are talking about the emotions around weight, how she stays so young, and how we can keep our energy clear. Plus, she tunes in and gives me a mini reading. But before I talk with Candia, meeting Mr. Right can be tough, especially when you keep kissing frogs. With tons of ways to meet someone, it can be exhausting doing the whole dating thing. What if it was easier than that? What if your happily ever after was closer than you think? Do you know there are specific steps you can take to stop attracting Mr. Wrong and pave the way for Mr. Right? Join me for my upcoming webinar, and I'll share the 5 steps to a powerful love attraction formula, giving you the keys to finding true love and having your happily ever after. Grab your spot now at theawakenedgoddess.com/webinar-registration, or just go to theawakenedgoddess.com and you can sign up there. And now let's talk to Candia. Welcome, Candia, to the Awakened Goddess Show. I am absolutely thrilled to have you joining me today to talk about your expertise as a medical intuitive. So welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I really do.
Oh my gosh, when I first met you, I swear it was probably over 15 years ago at a women's show. I went to one of your lectures and we hung out afterward for a little bit, and you talked with me and my mom about and kind of did a little mini reading for me, and that was just awesome. So
I remember that, actually. You know, and at the women's show, there are thousands of people. It's amazing how many people go through there. And yet I truly do remember, and that was a long time ago, but I remember you because I remember where you were standing because you've got that beautiful hair. How can we forget that? And your mom, and you guys stayed. And you were, you know, it's interesting at a women's show like that, not everybody's really excited about what I do. They're more about what you can get for free, and you two stuck around and you listened and you were excited. So yes, I absolutely remember.
And I have to say, when I saw you just recently at the Body Mind Spirit Expo in Portland, I swear it was like I was looking at you 15 years ago.
Oh, I love you. I love you.
You literally have not aged a day, and I want to talk about how you stay so young as we get into this, but yeah, I mean, you're just like so radiant, and every time I think of you, it's like you have this aura around you.
Oh, you give me goosebumps with that. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I work at that. Let me tell you, I work at that.
Yes. Okay, so your specialty is being a medical intuitive. So let's jump in and let us know how that came about. And what was your journey, kind of in a nutshell?
I never thought in 1,000 years that I would be a medical intuitive. I didn't go to school for this. I went to school in art. I'm very creative. I've got that whole right brain colorful mind word thing going on all the time. So to move into the sciences and move into the medical world was not something I was ever interested in. And yet at 22, I was told that I would be a healer one day, and I just kind of giggled and laughed, and I thought, seriously? I'm not thinking you're such a great psychic here, how much I was wrong. Boy, between my son's health when he was little, which sent me into the natural world, into homeopathy and naturopathic medicine, and then with my own injury in 93, golly, I can't believe it's been that long ago now. I had a skiing accident that they thought I broke my neck, and it sent all kinds of reverberations through my body, which took me a long time to heal. And I tried every modality out there, all the while thinking, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I don't know how I can do this, God, but I know I can do this. Until one day back in 99, I was sitting at my house in Camas, Washington, where there is a paper mill. And the paper mill emitted all these toxins into the air, put 43 kids in the hospital, nuked my lungs. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck at home, can't breathe. My husband thinks I need to have, more chemicals and things on my lungs. And I'm going, no, this isn't working for me. And so it was from that moment forward, I said, okay, guys, I need help, and I need it now. Started seeing my body. Then I realized I could start moving bones. And then I started seeing organs, and I started seeing meridians. And it's just been this open book ever since. And the stories between the emotions and our mind and our body just keep coming. And then a girlfriend of mine at the time said, do you think you could do on me what you're doing on you? And I'm going, God, I don't know. Sure, let's try it. And here we are, how many years later? And not only has all the medical stuff come, and it's been validated thousands of times, to being able to work on somebody literally physically. I mean, I can work from my chair to your chair right now. And for the listeners, I'm in Washington and Angela's in Oregon, and it doesn't matter because I can still see the energy, and I bring the energy to me. And so way long ago, and when I was 22, the psychic that I saw and told me this is what my job would be on the planet came true through a long, arduous journey. Like I said, this was not on my plan. Nah, psychic, yes, not a problem. I've been that way since I was little. I mean, seriously, 3, 4, my awareness hit before I was 1. However, again, I'm more of the let's go ski, let's go hike, let's go do things. So for me to do it from a whole other angle was this awakening, I guess, more of this thump on the head from the universe to say, okay, this is what your job is.
Yeah. And it's always fascinating to see how the universe speaks to us. And in those times when you were being challenged by health issues, it was like trying to get your attention and redirect you. And, in those times it's so painful or challenging or upsetting. But then when we can see the bigger picture and kind of step back from that, it's like, how beautiful is that experience and that journey?
I totally agree with you. I knew then that I was learning, and I just kept working at it through the years. I mean, it was several years because the neck injury is pretty major. It's not something you just walk away from. And even today, I look back on it and I'm thinking, what a gift. Even though it was not fun, I actually am going through kind of a different kind of journey now that's not fun. And I know that when this chapter closes and ends, that I will understand the greater dynamic. And I believe that to be true for everybody. When we go through these dark moments of the soul, and you just have to keep pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going, it's when we have the most incredible opportunity for growth and rebalancing and recentering and for expansion, actually. Even though we retract and we come into a tighter space, we actually are expanding, even if we're not aware of it.
Right. Okay, so that brings up a question I have, because I hang out with a lot of very spiritual people, metaphysics, and they're practicing, say, law of attraction or all of these different things. Yet I find that a lot of people struggle with money in that realm. And so as you're talking, I'm curious about, people that have these tools, these energetic tools that seem to be stuck for a prolonged period of time. I'm curious what you have to say about that.
Some of the reason I feel that people get stuck financially in the spiritual realms is we have been programmed, and that programming, of course, comes down through literally thousands of years. That's pretty hard to override when anybody that's in the spiritual world would be denigrated if you asked for money. I mean, if you were a monk, you were a healer, you were a gifted person, you had to do it for the church for free, you had to be the pauper, you had to, literally walk barefoot. And so there is still that mentality that comes through today that if you're in the spiritual worlds, that you shouldn't, or you don't, let's put it that way, you don't deserve money, you don't deserve abundance. And that's absolutely the opposite, because if you believe in abundance and you welcome it in, you actually, the more you have, this is what's upside down in a political world today, the more you have, actually the more you give. Instead of having people take things from you, you actually give. And when people don't take, because something that's not theirs, then the people that have it are more likely to give. And I believe that to be true when it comes to money. And we have this old pattern that says that, in fact, I've had people tell me, well, you really shouldn't charge for what you do. And I go, really? Well, okay, so does that mean that because you sell widgets, I shouldn't pay you for them just because you're good at it? I shouldn't pay you for them. I mean, it's just a very interesting mentality. And I think that's what a lot of people in the worlds that you and I travel in grapple with. And it's a matter of shifting that dynamic. That's really a deep subconscious programming that we need to learn how to override.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm curious to talk about some of the common issues that people find in their body. A lot of people have resolutions to lose weight. So
yes,
let's talk about the causes of weight gain or holding on to weight.
Weight is such an interesting thing. I have that's one of my, what would I call it? One of my causes, I guess. One of those things that I rally for, because to me it's such a huge issue. I mean, our obesity rate in the United States is staggering. And if we look at people, everybody is 10, 20, 30, 50 pounds overweight, and that's acceptable now. That's the norm. And yet our bodies truly cannot handle this. So it's a big thing. So what is do people come to me for weight? Absolutely. Do they stick with it? Well, I work with them, but until, they make that decision, it's funny. People come when it's at a crunch, truly a crunch time, meaning that their health is absolutely at a place that they have to make a do or die decision, and then they'll do it. But after about 3 months, everybody kind of starts going back to their old story again. It's because everybody wants it easy. They want it quick. They want it fast. And our food sources are horrible. Most of the foods have so many additives, dyes, chemicals, you name it, in the foods that then create an imbalance in the body. And then you have people eating, or let's say the opposite is not eating all morning and then eating late into the night. That's a really horrible habit. So we've got a lot of habits we've got to back to the word override. We have to start to change. And the other piece too is value, self-value. We have to value ourselves more to really say, okay, do I really want this pizza? I mean, is that really what I need for short-term gain versus the long-term positive results I would get if I have this salad and avocado and olives, and because we eat wrong fats too today. So it's not just one thing. There are so many levels to it, pieces of the pie that make up the whole weight thing. One of the things that I do when I work with people when it comes to weight, I am such a believer that everything is frequency. The chairs we sit on, the floors we walk on, the cars we ride in, the foods we eat, our bodies, everything has frequency. The most important thing is we eat food that vibrates to our personal body, which means you could eat something that possibly I couldn't eat, and vice versa, because it vibrates to my frequency. And when I go through and I test people for the foods that are right for them, they're going, wow. I mean, for example, I couldn't make this stuff up. Truly, I couldn't. I mean, I had this woman say, okay, let's go through my foods. I said, okay, great. So we were going through, and her body wanted chicken and buffalo. That was it for protein. That was it. I'm going, I don't know if you eat buffalo or not, but I'm just telling you that if you wanted to, your body says it's totally in alignment. And I had created this radiance program where for 3 months we check in and make sure everything is dialed. And the results between the first day and the end of the third month is remarkable. People start glowing. People start feeling more energized because it's not a diet. It is absolutely just this lifestyle change that's in alignment for you. It's as simple as that. People always panic with the word diet. We should pitch it out of our vocabulary.
Well, I heard someone recently say, instead of losing weight, you want to donate weight.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I like that. Yeah, because if you lose it, you have to go find it.
Yes, exactly. Things that, we lose our keys. We're panicked until we get it back.
Exactly. And you're going, oh, God, there it is. There it is. Oh, it's right there on my thighs again. Okay, great.
Yeah. Well, I always find the emotional part of, like emotional eating and how a lot of us turn to food to feel a certain way or not to feel a certain way, to maybe suppress those feelings or to feel comfort or feel loved. And it's interesting just how we kind of get that mixed up.
Absolutely. My husband's like that. And it's been a real challenge for him. And my feeling is if that's the go-to, and he's been my challenge because here he is, my husband, and I've learned you can't teach those that are right next to you. Hey, that's one of my learning lessons. Tough. But what happens what our body really craves is the fat. We think it's sugar. We think it's carbs, but it's really the fat that gives us the satiation. So when those moments happen, have a cup of olives, have half an avocado. It's good fat, and then it gives you that satisfaction in your brain that goes from that emotional trigger. And then take the time to look at the emotion. What is it that is missing that we are filling in, that we're stuffing? And if you think about it, stomach, okay, that's the solar plexus. That is the third chakra. That is our chakra of self-esteem, self-confidence, willpower, lack of willpower. And if you put that into just our course as humanity, that's what we're all working through, is moving out of this willpower, which is also about obviously power, empowering people, overriding power, disempowering people. We're moving out of that energy into the heart frequency. Well, a lot of people are rebelling, and until we get these first three chakras really clear globally in terms of individuals, but also as this overall karma, it's going to be harder for us to move into that heart energy. And if we center in that space, so again, when you're having those moments of emotional, I think I want to eat this right now, go into that space. Imagine the sun, again, solar, coming down through your head and moving it down into your solar plexus, lighting up all those corners so you can see what emotion is triggering that craving, I guess, if you will. And then you look it square in the eye, ask it what its name is, and say, okay, tell me what it is that you really need. Then from there, you get to change the face, if you will, of the craving, and then you go, oh. And then you hug it like a child, hug the child within. And then that can evolve and change and mutate into something beautiful. And then the sun is shining in your solar plexus, and you are doing something else instead. 20 jumping jacks instead, as an example. 20 push-ups instead. And then you walk away from it. It's like when you have I've learned this, I've never been a smoker, but you have that craving, you just have to have a cigarette. It's that addiction, and it lasts about 10 minutes. So if you can do something for those 10 minutes, you can usually walk beyond it. Same with food, but you have to look at that emotion.
Yeah, definitely. My mom has struggled with tinnitus for many years, and doctors tell her there's nothing that can be done about it. So what is your opinion on tinnitus?
Tinnitus is an interesting ailment, I guess I will use that word, because I know a lot of people that are dealing with it as well. There are two company names that I use as resources. One is North Star Nutritionals, and the other one is Best Health. And don't worry, I'll circle back. Best Health Nutritionals. They're basically the same company, and they have books written. They have credible listing of remedies, vitamins, supplements type of thing. But there's also a book in there on tinnitus that they talk about bringing different herbs, vitamins in that will help ease that. Now, what I have found, there was a point in time when I had ringing, and I learned through visualization techniques to go beyond it. And one of the first things, but again, it goes back to mindfulness. Mindfulness is very challenging. And you can ask your mom and share this with her, and for anybody else that deals with this, is you hear the ringing in your ear. So it's right there in your head. So you push your awareness beyond the ringing, out further into the universe, into your atmosphere, and pay attention to the sounds beyond it. Like, for example, the birds in the trees, or the cars driving by, or an airplane overhead, whatever, music, and go beyond it and stay in that space. And usually what the ringing will dissipate. And when it comes to the whole physical aspect, I feel, from my view, that there's a structural imbalance between the inner, middle, and outer ear that can be realigned energetically. That can definitely help. But then there's the mindfulness issue. And then I do feel that there are probably these herb supplement oils that can help with that as well. I'm also a believer in essential oils. I don't have the one right up at the top of my head that can help with it, but I do believe essential oils can also help. The big heavyweights like frankincense and myrrh, those type of things. You can put those at the top of the food chain, pretty much start rubbing those on your ears, and that will help.
Yeah. I can say that mindfulness and presence is something she could work on. So
we love our mothers. I get that.
Yes. But, really, can't we all? I mean, it's like with technology and everything, it's like everything's speeding up, and it's we really have to be mindful about slowing down and being present.
Absolutely. And I work on it every day. I really do. When I wake up in the morning, it looks like I'm just being lazy, but I actually take the time while I'm under my warm covers and use that as a mindfulness exercise, as well as when I go to sleep. Any other time during the day, if I have those moments when I can readjust my thinking, make sure I'm in my light, connected. I'm always asking the universe and making sure I'm on track. It truly is how you're able to cope when things are tough, and how you can thrive when things are good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to circle back to that question I started with. So what is your secret for staying so young?
God, like I told you, I love you. That's great, because I have those moments when I look in the mirror and going, oh my God, where did that come from? And that's the last thing you really want to do to your body, is to be negative in any way. Instead, just love it, love it, love it every day, which is not always so easy as we get older. I mean, it's funny, I just watched, and don't worry, I will answer your question, Dr. Christiane Northrup, and she's, I think, probably in her early, mid-60s, somewhere in there, and she was talking about never reveal your age, always act like you're 30, and she had these great ideas with it, and yet at the same time, I've never been afraid to say, this is how many times I've circled the sun, and I'm happy to be here, and yes, I feel like I'm about 40, so I think of myself as 40, when in reality, this birthday, I hit 59 in 2 weeks.
That's so it's amazing.
Like, I'm almost 60. How's that possible? Because I think of myself truly, and I hang out. I do have some women friends that are in their 30s and early 40s, which also is very helpful. But I feel that attitude, the fact that I don't dwell on it, the fact that I'm very mindful with my food, incredibly mindful, because I want to put good fuel into my body. I'm a believer in vitamins. I'm a believer in exercise. Even when I have those segments when I don't get out as much, I still will make time I have a little mini trampoline. I'm a believer in that. Walking outside. I think everybody needs to be outside and commune with nature, disconnect from all the technology, and then mindfulness. I do feel that has a lot to do with it. And and gratitude. I am totally grateful every day for, even like I said, I've been walking a fairly difficult path these last couple of years, and yet every day I am grateful. I wouldn't trade my life. I don't want to be somebody else. I am happy who I am. That's the key too. But you have to go through and be willing to clean out the gunk and look at yourself and go, yeah, I do that. Well, Candia, maybe I need to look at this and change that. Maybe I need to do it a little bit differently. And every time I do, you get off course. I write the pathway again and get back centered and balanced. And I really feel that has helped my body. And yes, it's aged, and yet I still think, okay, I can do this. I mean, I what started my whole journey down this path was on my neck injury was a skiing accident. Well, I ski just as hard today as I did then, because I make sure before I get on the slopes I go to the gym and get those weights in. So I make the effort. I think more than anything is making the effort. It's just that attitude. But thank you for saying that, because there are those days I'm going, what just, holy cow.
Well, you can come back and replay this interview as often as you like. So
I will. I think I will when I'm having those moments and I looked in the mirror and go, oh. So thank you. That was wonderful.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm wondering if we can play a little bit and have you tap into my energy and
I'd love to
see what you see, or do
Okay.
whatever you do, and if you can, I don't know, can you talk through it as you're...
Oh, I always do.
Okay.
In fact, I am so verbal that I might drive you crazy, because there is nothing that I see or do with you that I won't share with you, because I always want your permission. I also want you to know what it is that I see. So what I do is I'm going to bring your energy to me. I've got you right in front of me. The only time I'm quiet is this, this moment, this beginning. And this is how my book came about on soul rays, is I always look at somebody's soul ray. So, and that way I will get into you. So when you choose to be born, you choose, in fact, when is your birthday?
3/26/74.
So, okay, in addition to being an Aries in your rising sign and your moon and your Mars and all those other good things, which I have great respect for and have validation, then I look at what is known as your soul ray, which is a frequency of color that you choose to live in every lifetime. Now, you choose different soul rays for different lifetimes, just like you choose different astrological signs. The thing in this lifetime, this is the only time you get to be this particular soul ray, which I'm going to read in just a second, and your Aries and all of that, plus your name, gives you that specific vibration that will only happen one time. So this is the only space that I kind of agree with Christianity, in the sense that you only live one life. Well, I don't believe that, but I believe you only live one life as exactly perfect, wonderful you. So,
and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think that that's such an important point that we embody, circling back around to the abundance and prosperity piece, and recognizing that you are here to express your unique gift, and no one else can replace you. So there is really no competition,
Exactly. Beautifully put. Okay, so then on the other side, when you came into this life, you decided to be an Aries, but you also signed up for indigo. So what does that mean? Indigo means that it's almost like imagining the Blue Men's group where you're all painted blue, where you've got this vibration of indigo all around you, and that is literally the frequency that you embody from the time you're born to the time you die. It doesn't change. Your aura changes, because that's based on your physical health. It's based on your emotional mood. This is literally a guild, just like being an Aries is. This is what you came here to learn. The indigo, let me just check to see if you have a halo. Halos are the outer level. Some people choose to have two aspects. I can't imagine having 3 and 4 and 5, because 1 and 2 is plenty for a lifetime. So all at this point I have seen are 2. Halo, let's see if you have a halo. You're not showing me. You're all about being a visionary. Visionary has to do with your third eye. This has to do with opening up to the spiritual aspects. You are here to fine-tune that indigo part of yourself, that listening. Your greatest gift is intuition. Your greatest challenge is listening to it. Your greatest challenge is learning how to stay grounded and being in the here and now, because your natural inclination is to go hang out on the ceiling and say, hey, it's a party, this is so much fun, why do I have to do this? And that could be like when you were talking about eating, that could be the reason that you eat particular foods is because you are trying to get your whole body, soul regrounded. So the foods you're probably reaching for are foods that are coming to you to help you ground. Instead, better option, and which I'm doing right now, is I'm putting you in the center of your light. That's why, when you said I always have this halo, I always stand in my light. I make damn sure that I am in my light every day. And when you stand not only in the light, everybody talks about staying in the white light, but if you stand in your particular light, which in your case is indigo, so you get in the habit of standing in that indigo frequency, and you see that beautiful blue, purple energy all around you, and you're the snowman in the snow globe, and then you grow long roots, which I'm doing for you right now, because that is your challenge, is to stay grounded. I'm going to grow long roots, but I'm going to anchor you into the crystalline core of the planet, because that's a real high frequency, which will really work with your energy fields, keeping you or helping the desire within you to stay grounded when you're anchored to the crystal. Then I'm going to bring that energy back up through your feet, up through, and put it anchored into your pineal gland, which is where your crystal is. Then also, third eye, how perfect, is that then you will feel actually more Angela, more you, more creative, more energized, more everything, because why? You're in alignment with your home, which is Earth, and then alignment with your higher self, because by standing in your light, you are grounding in, well, you have to add that in, ground into the planet, but then you anchor into your higher self and into divine source by standing in your light. You create this direct line, and when you do, you actually have the ability to see what you came here to do. You are definitely in your path. It's no accident you circled around. Even when we met at a women's group that was totally non what I would call a spiritual environment, you have circled around into this arena of helping others and sharing your awareness and other people's knowledge with an audience so that they too can expand who they are. Brilliant. That's brilliantly done. So you followed your intuition, again, your indigo self. So I've got you in your light. Let me check your boundaries, and I'll just read through kind of generalize what I do for somebody. So I checked your grounding. I got you back. You're not out of body. A lot of people actually are splintered soul-wise, but I don't have to bring you back in. Your boundaries are good. Now let's check your structure. Your structure is out of alignment, so that's the next thing I check. So your cranials look good. Your cervical, thoracic back, middle back needs to be back in alignment. Your lower back needs to be back in alignment. Check your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet. All of the structure looks good. So that now you're back in, and then joints looks good. Tendons, ligaments, muscles need to be activated. Okay, and then
yes, I haven't been doing my usual jogging the last winter months.
I know. It just said so. So it's like, okay, that's cool. I check for hitchhikers and entities and implants, which are all good. Electromagnetics and magnetics and biochemical. I always check that because the cell is made up of three things. The cells in our bodies are made of electromagnetics, magnetics, and are biochemical. There is not one cancer out there that doesn't have an imbalance in those areas. Electromagnetics and magnetic frequencies we are being bombarded with by the cell towers, microwaves, our cell phones, iPhones, computers, and it's disrupting our cells. Another reason why I feel on a certain level, on a physical level here on the planet, cancer has gone up. Cancer is up to 1 in 3. Scary. It's crazy, stupid is really what it is. But electromagnetics need to be one of those things that people need to check, because we think it's fine to put up a microwave right next to our head when we put our cell phone there. Absolutely not. Everybody needs to get in the habit of using earbuds and things like that, keeping the cell phones off of their body for long-term health and radiance, basically. So yours are all good, fortunately, which is great. I check your tissues, your cells, your nerves, your nerve supply, your nervous system, all good. Your immune system is a bit low. We got to activate that. The magnetic grid is something that I go in through your solar plexus and go up and reconnect you into your divine self, for lack of a better word. You are clear on virus, bacteria, fungus, and pesticides, parasites, sorry. Left brain, right brain, whole brain looks really good. I usually go through supplements. I look at current life influences, parallel life influences, dimensional probability factors, bleed throughs, look into exercise programs, which you and I could talk about. I check you for metal. And I'm just kind of doing an overview, just as this is kind of how I do a quick one. Metal toxicity, you do show up for a little metal toxicity. So one thing you could do is get some zeolite. Zeolite is online. You can get that to detox. And then hydration looks pretty good. Your electrolytes are low, so you can get an electrolyte powder. Blood sugar looks off. Oh, I got to balance your blood sugar. You need to eat more protein, better balance of your protein. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you should have at least 4 meals a day. So when you get up, eat, and then choose your fourth, little meal. Either it's in mid-morning or mid-afternoon. That will help your blood sugar, and have better uses of proteins. Less carbs would be really good for you.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that really quickly, real easily. That's good. So that's kind of on a medical aspect. You will feel better. That's the best part. Your back's going to feel better. You're going to get up after our show today, and you're going to feel better, because that's what happens. Now, because I've gotten you in your light, I'm vacuuming you. What happens is, in the fields around us, especially when we've been out of our light, we collect all this debris. And when I vacuum that out and transmute that out with love and light, you already start to feel clearer, because that's where other people's stuff gets lodged. And all of a sudden, you're back into your space with it clear, and you're going, wow, I can see more clearly. I feel more vibrant. And away you go. So you will feel better also, just because your structure was out of whack. So now you will feel much better. So that's just a quick one. The other aspects too, you can get into the whole emotional piece, into every organ. But then I go through everybody's chakras and meridians and see what shows up there. So for example, your third chakra, of course, shows up. Your lower, first, second, third chakra is, again, back to that solar plexus that I was talking about, in terms of everybody's third chakra shows up. And it is what we are doing globally, learning through. And I also feel that is related to our weight. As a historical aspect, we used to be in the red frequencies, we used to be in the orange frequencies, the tribal issues, the sexual pleasure arena, and now we're in that power. Look at our world today, and everybody's, we're dealing with power mongering all over. So it's the third chakra we're dealing with all over the globe. So that's another reason why weight is an issue. So we're going to open up your third chakra and put nothing but beautiful golden light in there, light up all those corners, activate your adrenal glands. Your adrenals are just a little bit, not bad considering today's world. They're just a little tired. So even if you were just to take some extra vitamin C, that would be good. It would perk those up. And also, if you start eating a better mix of fats and protein, less carbs, you will also have more energy.
Yeah.
And that also is a real positive. I can feel it in your solar plexus, because I feel it in your stomach. I feel it in your digestion. I just, you start going in there. And then heart, fourth chakra looks good. Then the throat looks good. Third eye, of course, that's your indigo. Of course, we have to open that one up. Get that intuition just sparkling, radiant, beautiful, fabulous. And then away we go. Now, I also go through all the meridians, like I said, and look at the organs and see what emotions going there. And if we have stuck emotions that need to be moved out, because we get emotions that get hung up there. And a lot of times there are emotions that are, and you probably already know this, that we get downloaded. Everybody said we are set by the time we are 6. Well, okay, I've heard that my whole life. Okay, I get it. But the scientific part of that, because see, I have this whole left brain scientific part, and I didn't know this until recently, is that our brains, our minds, are literally in the theta delta stage, deep REM. And so we are at the most open stage from 0 to 6. So we download everything that is being presented to us. I mean, that's why. It's because of where our brain waves are. It's not only just because we're children, it's because of where the brain waves are. And so if you put that into context, we download our parents' garbage and they downloaded their parents' stuff. So we could be hanging on to stuff that's 7 generations deep. And we don't even know why we react to a certain thing.
Right.
So the more we have the ability to change that, then you start to feel vibrant. You feel radiant. And that's why, I always talk about radiance. And I love it. You said it before I even said it. You said radiant. It's that soul ray. When you get into that alignment, then you have the ability to change it.
Beautiful. Speaking about how we download all this stuff, and we're bombarded with so many influences outside of ourselves. What is a practical, easy tool that we can use so we don't take it on from other people?
First and foremost, my number one game changer in my world is your soul ray. When you learn to stand in your light every single day, your boundaries up, staying grounded, connected to source, then you don't get bombarded. Now, of course, you can do this with white light, yes, but I believe, of course, so I'm not trying to push my book, but read my book. You might find it, informative, but the more you stand in your alignment, then you have the ability to be absolutely the best you came here to be. And I mean, I absolutely grill and drill this into all of my clients going, okay, we're back in this light thing. Where'd you go? And, I talk about it at every one of my lectures because it's, again, I guess more than anything, we as human beings need to have things repeated. Let's put it that way. Until we get it, third time's a charm. That's why you hear advertisement. They say it once, twice, 3 times. It's like, oh God, we finally get it. So to stand in your light is what really changes. To me, that is a practical tip. And how do you do that? You just visualize you as the snowman in the snow globe. Indigo, you can use it as air, as water, because the snow globe has water in it, right? But it's all around you. It's like you're the plant in the pot, and the pot is around you, or you're the water in the glass, however you want to look at it. I just like the snowman in the snow globe because we can all see the circle around us, right? And we can have our little happy smile on in the middle, and that's the key.
And I understand that you have 2 really cool meditations for the listeners. So tell us about those.
I believe we can do everything this second. I believe we have all of that available and possible if we just get into the groove, into that belief set. So both of these are short 5-minute visualizations. One is called the bridge. It's literally about staying in this frequency, but you want to move to a higher frequency. You're just crossing the bridge. And the other one is about what we've been talking about, learning to stand in your radiance. 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes, and you can do those. You can have them on your phone, plug it in. You're sitting in line at the DMV waiting for your driver's license, right? You're standing in line at the post office. If you come home and you have a minute after work, plug it in. You can even, the way I look at this, you could be chopping up vegetables for your salad and listening to them, because that is still going in at the level that you need. Because think about how often we daydream anyway when we're doing something. So if your mind is on this focus of standing in your light or crossing the bridge, it then gives you that opportunity to go, whew, and you don't feel guilty if you're going, God, I don't have 20 minutes to do this. I don't have 30 minutes to do this. I can't sit down and do ohms for the next hour. It's not on my agenda. So 5 minutes we can squeeze in. You can even push play while you're in the shower, There are a lot of ways we can do things and make it work.
That's right. Well, I imagine repetitive listening, you embody it, and then it becomes something that you can just walk yourself through at any time without having to tap into that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're totally dialed on that.
Yeah.
Completely.
Love it. All right.
Yeah.
So how can the listeners get in touch with you, or also mention your book, please?
My book, I have to say, I'm very happy with. I really am. It's quick, it's short, it's not long, it's easy to read and understand. It's called Soul Rays, Discover the Vibratory Frequency of Your Soul. And it's all about the 12 rays and how they impact each of us while we're on our journeys. And the more you understand, for example, if someone is a blue ray, is a communicator, so their greatest gift is to communicate or not, or you have somebody who is a green ray and their greatest gift is to learn how to be in their heart and they're over intellectualize everything, you have the ability to understand them better and forgive them and give them space and empathy when they are working through what they came here to do. When you understand it that way, it's like with my children. Be so much insight and patience into their personality profiles and to helping them learn how to do what they came here to do better. So I really believe that the more you learn about soul ray frequencies, it just opens up a whole world of communication, let's put it that way, that will really help in your relationships. So soul rays is one, and the other one is called Adventures of Jack Star. And the book is called In Hawaii. It's a children's book. It's ages 8 to 12. It's basically a book about my own two children, and it's all about the flora, the fauna, the biology, the biography of Hawaii, but it's all wrapped around their sacred myths and their spiritualism, their mysticism.
Cool. And your website?
It's just my name, nice and easy, CandiasAndrews.com.
Perfect. And people can contact you for a reading?
Absolutely. And you can even just go to my website and you can hop on, make an appointment, done, over.
Perfect.
It's great.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Candia, for joining me today. This was such a delightful conversation. It just I can't stop smiling.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I was really looking forward to it. And you have this very fun, happy, you're very happy. You put that out, you just do. You just have that very happy. It's that indigo combination of happy and spiritual that it's why people love you. And I told Angela this earlier, but my assistant fell in love with it yesterday. She's so nice. I go, I know. So I've been looking forward to this. So thank you very, very much for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, and now for you, my gorgeous goddess, was there something Candia or I shared that resonated with you? If so, we'd love to hear about it. Head on over to today's show page at theawakenedgoddess.com and leave us a comment. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, subscribe to the show on iTunes and please share it with all of your friends. And if you want even more incredible resources, join the Awakened Goddess community to get Candia's gift and bonus content from the show. And until next time, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. I hope you enjoyed today's guest and got something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at theawakenedgoddess.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.